StrayAllDay.com.
Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved, is nowhere to be found. And on top of all this, I'm gonna give you a little bit more. Actually, it's a lot more. What it is the personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, including me and you, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together in one bundle, one package, one mindset, method, philosophy. There's a book version, and there is this masterclass you're listening to right now that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is why you need to get comfortable outsourcing, or more comfortable. If you already have done some outsourcing, why you need to get more comfortable with outsourcing things in your life. Now, this could be, I thought of this subject because of some business people that I know, some entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people out there doing their work who are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I wrote an article about this as well. Maybe you read it. And for people who are not entrepreneurs, for all of us, we need to get comfortable outsourcing. And as I get into my explanation of why I'm even talking about this topic, you'll understand exactly why I'm saying this. Just in the last couple of weeks from when I am recording this, I had a conversation with two different entrepreneurs who were having the same problem for the same reason, yet they weren't related to each other. Right? I know that these two didn't communicate with each other, but they both were having the exact same problem. Both of them were on this site called Canva.com. Y'all heard of Canva? Canva is a site where you can basically design your own graphics and for your social media or for any kind of creation, any kind of digital creation that you want to make and make it look good. Canva is a great website. Shout out to the people of Canva. And both of these people, though, they were spending a lot of time on Canva trying to do some sort of graphic design for their design needs, for their websites, brands, etc., what they were doing. But neither one of them was good at it. Neither one of them is a graphic designer. Neither of them was very good, and one of them showed me something that they made that didn't take them too much time, but the design was trash. And another person made something that it looked pretty good, but it had taken them forever to do it, way too much time than it needed to be taking, and they weren't good at it. Or I see people messing around on doing things like being on government websites and trying to figure out and navigate through websites that the government has where it's really hard to find information and you can't get in touch with a person and you can't get answers to certain questions. Or someone trying to get a customer service person on the line and wasting hours of your life on hold and then arguing with the person and they're running you in circles. And then you spend all this time and all this energy trying to get what you're trying to get and it doesn't get done. I want y'all to understand that these and similar tasks, these and other similar tasks, these little small things that you could just tell somebody else what you want or how you want it or what to get done or what's the result that needs to be measured. You can give these tasks to other people and let them do it so you don't have to waste your precious time, your energy, your attention, or your focus doing these things. Why? Because your time, energy, and attention are better spent doing things that you're good at, the things that you're great at, rather than doing these little things that take up so much time in these small little bites. They take up time from our lives, they take up energy from us, they suck all the life out of us. We don't even realize it because they do it in these small, tiny little bites. As the saying goes, death by 1,000 cuts. It's not like somebody takes this big Ginsu knife and slices our throat with one swipe. It's 1,000 little tiny cuts, and we allow those little tiny cuts to add up, and before we know it, we're like the frog sitting in boiling water. We don't even realize the water has gotten hotter and hotter until we're dead and it's over. This is what happens to us when it comes to our time, when we are not outsourcing things that we should not be doing. And again, this can be, of course, utilized for the entrepreneurs and solopreneurs out there, but this is also for all of you out there who just want to get more time back in your life. If you want to get more time back in your life, then this topic is for you. Now, before I even get into it, let me refer you to some topics where I talked about delegation, most specifically masterclass number 1100, Delegation 101 for entrepreneurs, and also masterclass number 664, how to delegate work in your business. And you can use those concepts even if you are not an entrepreneur about outsourcing things that you don't need to be doing. When I say outsourcing, let me be clear what I mean. It means taking something that you have been doing or something that you would do and having somebody else do it. That's what I mean by outsourcing. Doesn't mean you gotta hire somebody overseas or you gotta call India or you gotta reach out to a person in the Philippines or hire an assistant. What it means is Offload work that you don't need to do yourself and put it on somebody else's hands and let them do the work so that you can focus on what you do best. Anytime you're not spending doing what you do best, you are taking away from yourself. You got that? And as I get into these points, you'll understand a lot better. Point number one, today's topic, once again, is why you need to get comfortable outsourcing. Number one, anything that you are not great at or anything that you could tell somebody else to do, and they can do it just as well as you do it, or at least close to as well as you do it, stop doing it yourself. Let me say it again. If you are not great at a thing, you should not be doing it. And if you could tell somebody else to do something and they could do it pretty close to how you do it, all right, you shouldn't be doing it. Stop doing those things. Why? Because as I just explained, it takes time away from what you do great. The things that you do great, those are the things you should be spending as much time as possible on. And every day you should be strategizing, how do I take these tasks that I don't do great, how do I take these off of my hands and give them to someone else, something else, so that I can spend more time on doing the things that I'm great at. Anytime you're not spending doing the things that you're great at, you are taking away from yourself. You are getting a lower return on investment. What is the return on investment of you going to Target to buy some paper towels and some Cheez-Its? What's the return on investment for that? Could somebody else do that? Could you call Target? Could you order that? Could you automate that through Amazon? What is it? Amazon Grocery or Amazon Fresh or whatever they call it, and just have it delivered to your house so you don't have to invest that time into doing that thing? Could you do that? Again, does not supposed to be a specific solution, but you get the point that I'm making here. What is the return on investment on you calling customer service for some company where you bought something online and they messed up the order, and now you got to argue with them and get your money back and rearrange and get another delivery set up and all this stuff? What's the return on investment for that? This is a way that I want you to start thinking in your life. I talk about investment all the time here on the show. See masterclass number 609, the 5 forms of investment. But you need to think of your life in terms of investments. Every single thing you do is an investment. The time you spend listening to my voice right now, this is an investment. The people that you talk to, investment. When you go to the gym, that's an investment. When you watch TV, it's an investment. Every single thing you do is an investment. I need you to ask yourself, is this investment, because the 5 forms of time, money, attention, energy, focus, is this investment making me better for my future, or is it making me worse? Is it adding to my life, or is it taking away from my life? Everything you do is doing one or the other. All right. Even if you sit and just waste a whole day with your kids watching TV, that's an investment. What you're investing in is your relationship with your kids, even though you may not be quote unquote being productive, but you're still making an investment that is going to pay off in the future because you're building a stronger bond with your kids or with your significant other or whoever it is you're hanging out with, even if again you're not doing quote productive close quote things in that moment. But what is the return on investment of the actions that you are taking? And if you were to rank the return on investments of all the actions that you take over the course of your day, or just say over the course of a week, which ones are actually giving you the most return? And you'll notice that there are certain actions that are giving you the most return, but there are a whole lot of actions, the ones where most of your time is going, that are not giving you much of a return at all. And then the next question is, could somebody else do this? Is there some type of automated system or a person or some app or some software that can handle this for me, or someone I could pay where I can buy time, that I could focus more on the things that are giving me a return on investment that could replace me in doing this thing here that has no return on investment whatsoever? And when you take that time back, you might have to pay for that time, but when you take that time back and you put it in the thing that gives you the higher ROI, you make more than you make multiples of that money back that you invested into getting that thing off of your hands in the first place. All right, this is the way that you got to think about investing, not looking at everything as a cost. Again, people who are unsuccessful people look at everything as a cost, as an expense. Oh, I got to spend money on that. I got to pay for that. Yes, you have to pay for it because an investment is going to make you better in the long run. If it wasn't somehow making you better in the long run, why would you even be thinking about it in the first place? You wouldn't be. You wouldn't even be thinking about paying for it if you didn't think it was doing something for you. All right, nobody complains, oh, I got to pay for it when they go to the store and buy some food. Why? Because the food, in your mind, you might not think about it consciously, but unconsciously you understand is making you better in the long run. It give you some energy. You need some calories in your body. You need some protein. You need some fats. You need some carbohydrates. You need those, and you understand that inherently, which is why you don't complain about paying for food. But if somebody wants to sell you a book, you complain about that, but you don't understand that that's an investment. You're paying for the book, but what you're going to get out of it when you read the book and implement what's in the book is going to make you so much more than what you paid for it. Now again, people who understand a mindset of investment understand what I just said. I'm preaching to the choir, but there are people out there who don't understand this. They look at everything as a cost, therefore they don't want to spend anything, they don't want to make any investments because they think of it as an expense, but it's actually an investment. But then the smart people are getting ahead of them because they're investing in the things that the losers don't want to invest in, or what they would call spend on. Anything that is taking time away from what you do great, you shouldn't be doing. All right. If calling customer service is not something that you're great at, don't do it. All right. If going to the grocery store is not something that you're great at, don't do it. If you're not getting a return on investment from doing certain things, you shouldn't be doing it. Start thinking like an owner, because you are the CEO of You Incorporated. You're the owner and the CEO of You Incorporated. And you're the full-time operator. You're the only operator of You Incorporated. Just you as a person. Now, as the CEO of your company, you empower yourself by empowering other people, putting them around you and letting them do the things that will make your life easier and the operation of your business easier. You understand that? That's why you got to get people around you to help remove the noise out of your life. Like I just talked about a week and a half ago in masterclass number 1473, how to remove noise from your life. How you do that is by stopping doing things that are not making you better, that are not giving you a higher return on investment, is a better way of saying it. They may make you better, but if they're not giving you a return on investment, that means somebody else could do it. And you could use that time on the high ROI things. That's what smart CEOs do. That's how they level up and get to higher levels. Not by doing the same things over and over and over again that are not doing anything for them. People around you should be helping you make your job easier and keeping you focused on where you get your highest returns, doing things that only you can do. If other people can do them, you shouldn't be doing it. Point number 2. Today's topic is why you need to get comfortable outsourcing in your life. Number 2, there are services out there such as Fiverr.com where you can have small but time-consuming tasks done for you for as little as $5. Things like I told you at the top of this episode, somebody I know who's an entrepreneur, she said, well, I designed this logo, and she showed me the logo, and I looked at the logo, and the logo was trash. And I said to her, who designed that logo? And she said, me. And I said, are you a graphic designer? And she said, no. And I said, I can tell. That's why you should not be designing that logo, and you need to get on Fiverr and you need to hire somebody to design that logo, because that logo looks like it was made by somebody who shouldn't be designing logos. And she laughed because she knew exactly what I was talking about, and she knew better than to have been doing what she was doing. Go and find someone who can do what you can't do. If you're not good at something, don't try to force yourself into being good at it. Don't do that. Stop it. Do the things that you're good at and find somebody else who's already good at that thing and let them do it. Now, there are times where it makes sense to add skills and get better at certain things, but you need to be strategic about that. And let me give you a hint. If you didn't know me well enough, let me tell you right now, I got a masterclass coming on that exact topic. When does it make sense to add skills, and when does it make sense to go outsource a skill and not even worry about trying to add that skill? There is a time for each. And I'm going to explain that to you in detail in a future masterclass, so stay tuned. So if you're not a graphic designer, all right, do not design a logo, okay? Don't call the city to dispute a parking ticket if you can get somebody else to do it. All right, don't go and get on Amazon and argue with Amazon customer service about a delivery that was late, or they delivered the wrong item, or it was broken. Have somebody else do that. There are people out there who will do that on your behalf. Trust me, I've hired these services. There are people out there who you can just call them, or not call them, but you can tell them, look, I ordered this item on this website. It cost this much, it got delivered late, and it was the wrong item, and it was supposed to cost this much, and they charged me this much, and this happened. You get them all the details, give them the number, say call them on my behalf, use this credit card number, and this is the outcome that I want, 1, 2, 3, and they will take care of it for you. They will do it, and they'll report back to you, all right, we reached out to them, Mr. Baldwin, this is what happened. They said this is happening now, this is happening, and oh yeah, we got this for you as a bonus and all that, and they'll handle it for you because it's their job to handle it for you. That's what they do. You don't have to be doing it. All the time it would have took you to do it, you're taking away from the things that you do best, which means you are depriving yourself and the people who would benefit from what you do best of getting that thing, because you're spending your time doing things that you shouldn't be doing, like designing logos when you're not a graphic designer. They may seem like small things, but like I said, they suck up time, death by 1,000 cuts, and they take you out of your zone Because even if you take a little bit of time to go do it, the time that you spend doing it, then getting back to the main thing, now you got to rev up your focus again. All right, focus, you can't just turn on focus like that. You need to rev it back up. Every time you switch between tasks, you got to take some time to get back into your groove and get back into your zone and get back warmed up. It takes you out of that zone, and your time is better spent on what you're great at, because doing the things that you're great at is what puts food on your table, metaphorically or literally speaking. Anything that needs to be done but does not require you, get comfortable getting someone else to do it. Okay, so I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm telling you go find somebody else to do it. There are services out there, like I said, like I was just explaining. There was a service that I used to use. You pay them $100 a month and they'll give you 20 tasks, so to speak, and they can be done remotely by assistants. So for example, if you need to look up a travel itinerary, you need someone to book your flights, you don't have to go look up the flights yourself, or look through Airbnbs to find the right one. Holding on the line with the airlines, you could dispute a charge and you might be on hold for 40 minutes. There are other people out there and services that will do these things for you. It's much easier to have those people do them. It frees up time for you. It gives you mental space. It reduces the noise in your life, and it allows you to focus on the things that you're great at. I mean, what is the downside? Oh, that you got to pay for it is an investment, ladies and gentlemen. Again, think investment, not cost. This is what business owners do. People who lose in life, people who think they need to do everything themselves, or they trick themselves into believing they got to do everything themselves, they think everything is a cost instead of an investment. When you start thinking of investments, you see things differently. That's hopefully what I'm trying to do here for you today. And hopefully you're listening, hopefully it's working. Because if it is, you should listen to point number 3, because we're not done. Today's topic, once again, is why you need to get comfortable outsourcing in your life. Point number 3, the mentality of having to do everything on your own, which a lot of people have. This is a disease. It will keep you grinding yourself down to the bone. All right, there's only so much that any one person can do. None of us is good at everything. And none of us is good at more than one thing at the same time. None of us is capable of being good at more than one thing at the same time. Let me change that. None of us is capable of being great at more than one thing at the same time. We can be good at a couple of things, but great, no. None of us has that. You will grind yourself down to the bone. I know your main objections for everything I'm saying here today. So let's cover those. Your main objections to everything I'm saying here today is, 1, you think you can do it better than somebody else. And most of the time, maybe you're right. Even if you could do it better than somebody else, doesn't matter. That's the question that you have to answer. We know the 80-20 rule, right? Pareto's principle. If you could find someone else who could do 80% as good as you in 20% of the time, does that missing 20%, because you could do it at 100% level, they could do it at 80 level, but they take 20% of the time that you take, does that missing 20% of quality, does that matter in every single thing that you do in your life? I would guess, I'm going to venture to guess, no, it doesn't. Not in everything. Maybe in some things you want that extra 20%, it matters, but in a lot of things, that extra 20% does not matter. It makes no difference. Nobody notices. It costs you no money, that extra 20%. It makes you no money, the extra 20% that you insist on doing yourself. So just because you can do something better than other people does not mean you need to do it. The extra 20%, show me in numbers, show me in data how that extra 20% of quality, quote unquote, that you think you deliver makes any tangible difference in your life or your business. Show me. If you can't show me, that's because it doesn't exist. And that's why you shouldn't be doing it. So you doing it better than somebody else, we handled that. What about you think you could do it faster than somebody else? Okay, maybe you can, but here's the thing. What if somebody else can just do it, and the time that it takes them to do it, you only got to pay $5 or $10 for, as opposed to your time, which is worth $50 an hour, and you spent an hour doing it? Why would you do it? $5 versus $50. That's a $45 difference. So you're basically paying $45 to the world, to life, every time you decide to do something yourself that somebody else could have did for $5. Why are you doing it? What sense does that make? Again, you're the CEO of your company. As a business, if you make that decision one too many times, the shareholders are going to vote you out and you're going to get removed from the board of your own life. All right, how would that feel? Or your business is going to go out of business, one or the other. Either way, you lose. Is that what you want? Because you can do it faster? Oh, here's the third objection. Let's address this one. This is another main one, for especially for people who have never even thought of outsourcing things. They can't afford to pay somebody else to do something. It's not that you can't afford it, it's just that you don't want to afford it. It's not like you don't have the money. I mean, you have it, you just don't want to use it for that. You want to use it for other things. Well, again, as I already explained to you, addressing all of these. First of all, Anything that you can do yourself both better and faster than anyone else, that's a skill you should be getting paid for. So let's back up to all three objectives. I can do it better, I can do it faster, I don't want to pay, or I can't pay. Quote unquote, I can't pay. Everybody can pay when they need to pay. But some people say they can't. Okay, we're going to address those. Anything that you can do, again, you can do it better than anybody else, and you can do it faster than anybody else, more efficiently than anybody else. Show me when somebody paid you to do it. Because if you've never been paid to do that thing, then you might be lying to yourself about the better and faster part. Because if you could do something better and faster than anybody else, then you should be doing that for a living. But if you're not doing it for a living, or you're probably not better. Maybe you think you're faster, but you're probably not better than anyone else out there. There's somebody out there better than you, because that's the person who's getting paid for it. You ain't getting paid for it, or somebody is. So that's a lie. Or maybe you have conditioned yourself to believe that. You've hypnotized yourself to believe something that's not true. I don't think you're lying to me or lying to yourself. I hope you're not lying to yourself or lying to me. I think maybe you've conditioned yourself to believe something that's just not true. But that's why I'm here. All right, to shine some light on you. I'm not here to tell you what you already know. I'm here to give you an angle that maybe you haven't thought about. If you are short on either skill or efficiency, you should be outsourcing. Let me say that again. You should burn this statement into your mind right now. Anytime you find yourself short on either skill or efficiency, you need to be outsourcing. Someone else can do it more efficiently than you, or better than you, or both. Let them do it. Time is the most valuable resource we have, right? And of course, quality matters. So if somebody's better than you, then we shouldn't even be having this conversation. If somebody can do it more efficiently than you, you need to ask yourself, calculate, all right, they can do it more efficiently, but you might be 20% better. Show me where that 20% actually matters to your bottom line. Show me the 20% difference. If you can't prove it, then it doesn't matter. Sometimes in life, good is better than perfect. You don't need to be perfect at everything. Everything you do does not need to be perfect. Now, again, I know some people use I gotta be perfect. It has to be perfect. This person's only 80% as good as me. No, I can't do that. I can't deal with that. That's low quality. A lot of people like to use these built-in excuses. But again, you don't need to be perfect at everything. There are some areas of your life, and I'm gonna quantify this. There are no more than 3 to 5, and 5 will be a stretch. 3 to 5 areas of your life. Anyone who's listening to me right now, where that extra 20%, it's somebody who could do it 80% as good as you, there are only 3 to 5 areas where that will be unacceptable. Everywhere else, you're good with that 80%. 80% as good as you is fine. All right, it won't matter. All right, anyone here who you like to wash your own car. Okay, you like to wash your own car. And unless you are like a car show, you do car shows to win prizes, monetary prizes, or somebody else can wash your car and do it 80% as well as you. For the most part, that 80% is good enough. All right, what's that extra 20% actually doing for you? Can you prove that does anything? Can you even show me the difference between yours and theirs? Can you note the differences? You know, when they used to have the little in the comic books, I guess things for kids, they would show you 2 pictures and say, point out all the differences between the two. Could you show me all the differences? Most of the time, you can't. The only time you could point out the differences if I told you there were differences, maybe you could find them then. If I didn't tell you there were differences, you probably wouldn't even notice. Perfectionism is the enemy of efficiency. And a lot of people use perfectionism as a shield, a rationalization to add time to situations. And this is why they never get to the things that are most important, because they need to be perfect in trivial matters that do not actually matter. Am I talking to you right now? If someone can do something faster than you, more efficiently than you, outsource it by time. Point number 4. Today's topic, once again, is why you need to get comfortable outsourcing. You cannot, for anyone who says, well, I can't afford it, or you have the money, you just don't want to spend it, understand something. You can't not afford to buy time, because time is the only non-renewable resource. So if you're doing everything on your own with your own time, you will eventually run out of it. All right, if you're spending all your own time on everything that needs to be done in your life / business, you will eventually run out of time. You will be time broke. You will be time bankrupt. The problem with going time bankrupt is the government does not forgive that bankruptcy. You're just bankrupt. All right, it ain't no bouncing back from that. It's over. You'll be time broke or time bankrupt or both. It's the only non-renewable resource. So understand something. This is a new way of thinking for somebody who's listening to me right now. When you pay someone else to do something that you would have done on your own normally, you have now pulled off a magic trick. Here's the magic trick. You have purchased some of your life back. That's what happens when you pay someone else to do work for you. It is not you had to spend $5 like it's a bad thing, or $50 or $500, whatever the amount is. You're buying back life. How much would you spend for more of your life? How much would you pay for more of your life? If you were on your deathbed right now and the Grim Reaper came to you and said, look, I can give you another year, but it's gonna cost you this much in dollars. Are you willing to pay for it, or you wanna die right now? Which one you want? I think anyone listening to me would pay. If you could come up with that money, you would pay to get an extra year of your life. As long as you could be able-bodied and do what you wanna do, right? Able-bodied and able-minded, you would pay. So understand that that's what you're doing right now. Anytime that you outsource and you pay someone else to do something for you to save you time and buy you time back, you are buying not time, you are buying your life. You are buying life for yourself. If you looked at it that way, it'd be much easier to outsource, wouldn't it? Instead of looking at it as, oh, I got to spend $15 to get that done, I might as well just do it myself. Do not do it yourself. You're probably trash at it, number one. If you're even thinking about outsourcing it, you're probably trash at it yourself, because if you were really that great at it, you wouldn't even be thinking about outsourcing. So if you're thinking about outsourcing, somebody else could do it probably better than you, and they can do it faster than you. And even if they're 80% as good as you and at the same speed as you, maybe even a little bit slower, you are buying time so you can focus on what you're actually good at. You're not good at everything. You're great at probably 3 to 5 things. That's it. Maybe not even that many. And that's all you should be doing. This is the way you need to start looking at purchasing time or paying people to do work that you could have, would have, should have, or usually do on your own. Now, if I haven't gotten my message across to you yet, then what you need to do is rewind this masterclass back to the beginning and listen to it again. Let's recap today's topic, which is why you need to get comfortable outsourcing. I thought of this because I've seen people using these graphic design sites and trying to do all this graphic designing when they're not graphic designers, wasting time or producing crappy work that they should have never produced in the first place, and they know it, or messing around doing things that they don't need to be doing that somebody else could easily do, and they are tasks that they don't need to be doing themselves. And again, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to use these principles. It's not just for business, it's for everybody. Number one, anything that you're either not great at or you can tell somebody else to do, stop doing it yourself immediately. Stop doing it. Outsource. Go directly to outsourcing. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It takes time away from what you do great, which is not calling customer service or going to Target or designing graphics if you're not a graphic designer. All right. CEOs empower themselves by putting people around them to make their job easier. I talked about this in masterclass number 1473. You are the CEO of You Incorporated. If your company goes bankrupt or loses all of its money, the game is over. Point number 2. There are services out there like Fiverr where you can have small but time-consuming tasks done for you for $5. Get used to using. Go do it. Go hire somebody to do something for $5. Just $5. Everybody got $5. Just go do it so you can get comfortable outsourcing work to other people. Just do it. Doesn't even have to be something that you need. Doesn't even have to be something serious. Just invest the $5 so that you can buy yourself some peace of mind and add a new skill to your skill set, which is outsourcing work. Now, that's a skill that you need to add. All right, graphic design is not a skill you need to add. Outsourcing is a skill you need to add. Or these seem like small things, but they suck up time. They take you out of your zone, and your time is better spent on what you're great at, because doing things that you're great at is what puts food on your table, literally or metaphorically. Anything that needs to be done but doesn't require you to do it, get comfortable outsourcing it to someone else. You need to book a flight, you need to schedule a travel itinerary, you need to look up Airbnbs, you need to hold on the line so you can argue with the airline. Let somebody else do that. Now, it's much easier to have somebody else do it than for you to do it all yourself, because you can't do everything yourself. Point number 3, the mentality of having to do everything on your own will grind you down to the bone, and you will work yourself literally to death. I know your main objections. You could do it better than anyone else. You could do it faster than anyone else. You can't afford to pay somebody else. Let's address these. First of all, if you could do something better and faster than anybody else, then you should be getting paid for that skill. That should be your main skill. And if you haven't ever been paid for it, then let me tell you a secret. You are not better or faster than everybody else. That's impossible. If you're short on either one, you need to be outsourcing. Time is your most valuable resource. Quality matters. If you cannot show me tangibly, numbers-wise, in data, how the extra 20% of quality between your 100 and somebody else's 80 is worth you putting an extra 2 hours into it than what you could have outsourced to somebody else. That's 2 hours of your life. Show me how that 2 hours is quantified in your data and your bottom line of your life. If you can't show it, that means it doesn't exist, which means your myth of perfectionism is bullshit, and you should stop doing it. Point number 4, you cannot not afford to buy time. It is the only non-renewable resource. So when you pay someone else to do something that you would have done on your own, you have pulled off a rare magic trick. You have purchased life. Now, it is very hard to do. So this is the way you need to start looking at paying people for doing work that you could have done on your own. It is not about saving $1. It is not about it being perfect or you think you're better, which you're probably not. It's about buying life. If you run out of life, the game is over. If you want to keep playing the game, you got to start outsourcing. Stop trying to be Superman or Superwoman. It's impossible and you'll fail. Work on your game. Dre all day.